literally such a funny story. At 4:20 in the morning, in the middle of a rave, in the middle of a hard techno rave, this man has proposed to me. And we'd never discussed it. So that was not part of the plan. That was never part of the plan. And so I decided this would be the perfect opportunity for me to do something that I'm passionate about and I've never had time to pursue before. And so I learned how to mix and make music. And that was the first time that I actually got into this space. And the entire idea behind it wasn't really a viable career option. I just did it because I Absolutely. So I'm Tish, aka Cosmic Kitty, and I'm a DJ. I would say my trajectory has been pretty unusual. Definitely the path lesser taken. So I'm from the beautiful country of India. Amazing, gorgeous place, amazing food, amazing people, amazing vibes. And for as long as I could remember, ever since I was a child, I have always wanted to pursue medicine. I loved science, I loved biology, I loved that whole aspect of things. And so until my 12th grade, I tunnel vision only focused on pursuing medicine. All of my decisions were geared towards pursuing a career in medicine. And what happened after my 12th grade, I was super, super passionate about biology and science. But every doctor that I spoke to actually advised me to not do medicine. And the reason for this is because when you do medicine, number one, you have a very long incubation period before you can actually start earning money. So you're studying till you're about 35, doing residencies, and I wanted to make bank and I wanted to make it quick. So that was one of the reasons. Another reason is when you pursue a career like medicine, your entire life becomes that career. Your social circle, everything you do, your entire life becomes that career. And so I had a moment of self-reflection, and I was like, yes, I'm very passionate about it. I love it, but do I love it enough for it to be my whole life? And at that point, the answer being no, I decided to pivot. And I decided to pivot into business. So I come from a family of educational entrepreneurs. We run and own businesses, we run and own educational institutes like schools and colleges back home in India. And so that seemed like the most obvious pivot. And so after my 12th, instead of taking the medical route, I decided to go on and take the business route. And I did my undergrad at Bentley University in Boston in business management. And when I came back, I realized the last 4 years of my life, have I really been happy? Do I really feel fulfilled? Do I really feel passionately about what I'm doing? And the answer was no. I hadn't felt passionately about what I was doing since I left medicine. I didn't feel myself. I didn't feel that drive and that ambition that I had. And I missed who I was when I felt that way about myself and about what I was doing in my career. And so when I came back, I have always been a very creatively inclined person, And so I decided at that point, how do I find that overlap, that sweet spot between what I'm passionate about and what I can make an actual, real, viable career choice out of? And the answer that came to me was, if I can't do medicine and if I can't pursue biology as a career, maybe I can teach it. And so I got into teaching biology to 11th and 12th graders, which was such a fun experience. I loved every bit of it. I loved that I was doing something that I was passionate about. I loved working with the kids. I loved the feeling of satisfaction after a long day at school, which is not something I ever thought I would say actually. But that was really fun. And then I decided, okay, maybe if this is something that I truly do enjoy, working in the educational space is something that I do enjoy. How do I further that? And I realized the way to do that would be to kind of get into the other functions in schools. So like I got into the administrative side, the marketing side. And the entire idea was to kind of learn the entire organization bottom up. So, start from the base and build upwards, learn it at every level. So I have like a good holistic view of it by the time I eventually and hopefully took over the family business. And so after I had this little stint with teaching, I decided to kind of further my business mind and my business acumen. And I did a master's in business management and marketing at King's College in London, which was the best year of my life. I absolutely loved it. Have you been to London?
Once.
London is such a great city. It's one of those places where you don't have to get ready and get out and decide what to do. You can just like go out without a plan and just find stuff to do. Amazing people, and it was my first time I really got it. I got the experience of the underground music subculture that London has so much of. They have such a cool like underground music subculture community, and I feel like I felt like the spark of passion again. And I was like, okay, cool. I was like, this could be something. But at that point, I was still actively pursuing business. And then a few months before my master's ended, my boyfriend at the time, my husband now, came to visit me in London, and he proposed to me. Literally, such a funny story. At 4:20 in the morning, in the middle of a rave, in the middle of a hard techno rave, this man has proposed to me. And we'd never discussed it, so that was not part of the plan. That was never part of the plan. So I had this thing thrown at me out of nowhere. I did not know what to do with it, but I loved him. I want to get married to him. And he's currently pursuing his MBA in Austin, so I knew I was going to move to Austin at some point. When I did eventually move here after my master's, there was this weird period of limbo for me, where because of like immigration processes, because I'm Indian, I didn't have a permit to work or study legally in the US. So I had a period of 6 months where I was like, what do I do now? Like, I'm the kind of person, I need to be doing something to feel satisfied, to feel fulfilled, to wake up happy in the morning. I can't be idle. And so I decided this would be the perfect opportunity for me to do something that I'm passionate about and I've never had time to pursue before. And so I learned how to mix and make music. And that was the first time that I actually got into the space. And the entire idea behind it wasn't really a viable career option. I just did it because I just wanted to throw some sick house parties for my friends and play some sick music for them. But the more I got into it, the more I realized how passionate I was about it. And for the first time in 7 years, I felt that little spark passion. I've always been a very creative person. I've always been super into music. I've been playing the electric guitar for like 12 years. And I was like, wait, this could be something. This could be that overlap for me, between my creative side, using the right side of my brain, music, something I'm passionate about, and like making money and a career out of it. And that's kind of how Cosmic Kitty came to be. And now I'm just riding the wave. You just gotta fake it till you make it.
Wow, and you are one of the best DJs in Austin, and of course that's how we met you.
Oh, I love to hear that. See, that's what I love to hear.
Yeah, so it's an interesting journey, because hearing you coming from the other side of the world, you living in UK, and now you're in Austin, and you found a passion that you really, really think it's your next way of living life. There are some young people out there that they are really pursuing, or they don't know what to do with their lives, and they have so many talents on the other side. So how did you do your first show? How did you go in the spotlight? Because at one point, like, some people, they really are good at playing guitars, they are good at playing pianos, they are like amazing, until their friends make a video of them and they put on TikTok or somewhere else, then they start going viral, and then they realize, oh, I'm a musician, oh, I'm a good singer, oh, I'm a guitarist. How did you step into the spotlight?
Like, make that final leap.
Yes.
So here's the thing. I'm gonna get a little deep for a second. Here's the thing about humans. Like, we have two kinds of needs, right? We have extrinsic needs, which is success, money, power, being high up on the corporate ladder, being a CEO. Those are our extrinsic needs. And on the other side, we have our intrinsic needs, which is our self-identity, fulfillment, the feeling of happiness. So I would say being successful is very different from being happy. You can be successful, but you may not be happy if your intrinsic needs aren't met. So I would say to people who are, on the fence about taking this decision is find truly what you are passionate about, what satisfies you intrinsically, and then try to connect that with their extrinsic motivations. How do I take something that I'm passionate about and make money? How do I take something that makes me happy, and how do I make it a viable career option? And for me, that was a really difficult decision to make. Because I was like, how many DJs actually make it? How many DJs actually make it big? What are the chances that I will make it big? There's so much competition, especially in a place like Austin. There's so many upcoming DJs. How do you set yourself apart? And I feel like the way to do that is you need to, well, at least in this context as a DJ, it's like finding your USP, finding what is it that you bring different at the table. For me, it's like my unique sound and style. That I bring a lot of my Indian cultural influences into my music. So there's a genre that originated in this beautiful little city in India called Goa, and it's called Psytrance. It's very fast BPMs, very industrial, very hypnotic, very repetitive, and that's something that I don't see here too much, in the US especially. So trying to bring like these different elements and exposing people to something they haven't been exposed to before, bringing something new, bringing something fresh. I think that's one of the key factors. And of course, the other one is just being out there, networking, being in the right place, the right time. Putting yourself out there, meeting new people, and just doing new things like this podcast.
Wow. I'm so inspired already. So
thank you. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, because personally, how I came to do these stories, it's because I realized however we are as humans, we all share stories. Like, there are human stories, and there are those stories like someone I wouldn't be interested to hear some corporate, you tell me like some corporate stories, like how work goes, blah, blah. I wouldn't be interested if I don't work in a corporate. But if you share me the human story like this is a human story, then it makes me sit down and want to listen, like how you transitioned from a business, like you have a master's in business, then you are like, yeah, I can do great things if I go in a corporate office. If I go in a corporate ladder, I can do amazing things. And you have a background from reputable universities. But you say, no, there is the other thing that I would love to do. And luckily you got that space to really have time to think about it and reflect about it. Then you are like, I'm doing this. That alone is human enough to think about myself and say, what do I need to do? Because you have all these opportunities, but what do you really want to do? That for me is wow.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah, because there were many times for years I was very unhappy. I was like, I'm doing what I should be doing, but am I doing what I need to be doing for myself? I guess at the end of the day, everyone's goal in life is just to wake up happy, to wake up feeling fulfilled, be satisfied. And success means different things to different people.
Yes.
To some it's money, to some it's power, to some it's, doing something new, meeting new people. Like success is different, it means different things to different people. And for me, I think it just meant feeling fulfilled and happy and feeling like I belong in the community that I am. And I think this is what music has really got me, is I feel like I finally belong. Because for years, while I was doing business, I just cannot imagine myself sitting behind a computer. How will I ever be happy in the long term? That just doesn't bring me joy. I have never wanted to be the CEO of like a company. I've never wanted to be someone's boss. I have always wanted to create. And I was like, how do I make money of creating? But you know, everyone finds their ways and their paths, and everyone has such a unique journey. And I think you must respect all journeys. It always teaches you something new.
Yeah. So I see your career, you being of an Indian background, and trying to see what is missing in the context of music mixing. You have a lot that you can really like. I'm seeing this as something like that is huge, because you besides Indian have a great music. I can tell you I have a playlist of Indian music. I don't even know any word in Indian, but I have a playlist of Indian music that
It
I
just hits
just
different.
yeah, of course. And the music is a language that every heart like knows the language. Every soul knows the language of
Yeah, you
music.
should feel it in your soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you are really like in a great position, and of course Austin is growing. My first time here was 2019, and there are some guys I know who were just beginning, like who are just there doing basic stuff. Now they are doing amazing. So in the next 3 years, I can't wait to see you when you're on the rooftop
Hopefully.
of your
That's
career.
exactly that's the energy I'm looking for. I love to hear that. Yeah, I would say luckily I am in the right spot to be doing this, right? Austin has such a huge music scene. And it's so open and welcoming to new artists, to newcomers. And I feel like that's so important, because if you're not welcoming to new artists, you're not going to be exposed to new genres, new sounds, new styles, new music. And so I feel like you need to take a chance on yourself.
So, what is your message to the young people in India, young people in the UK, young people across the world? What is your message to them today? Because the world is so overwhelming, and things they see on social media, some people they are faking it, some people they are, this and this. The social media influence is too much. But when we have this human-to-human conversation, we really speak up, and everyone listens, but everyone picks what is the interest to them. So what is your message to the young people, especially females? When it comes to India, I know it's a different...
It is a different culture and
Yeah.
community, absolutely. Personally, I've always been, so I would say my biggest drawback as a person is how afraid I am of taking risks. I have historically been so afraid of failing and of failure that many a times I haven't even taken a chance on myself and tried something new and taken a risk. And I think with DJing, this was the first time I decided to take a risk and take a chance, give myself a chance, and the way it worked out. So I feel like that's a great question. My message to everyone out there trying to figure out their paths would be to fail quick, so you can learn quick and you can succeed quicker.
That's a great one. So my last question as we close, some parents, they don't think this stuff, being a DJ, being a comedian, they don't think these things pay. Does being a DJ pay bills?
Absolutely. Granted, in the beginning, you have to do a lot of free stuff, but it's more about getting your name out there. Because at least in a profession like DJing, it's all about exposure. It's all about how many people have heard your music, experienced your sets. It's about getting your name out there, your music out there. So you will have a relatively long incubation period before you can actually start earning the big bucks. But all it takes is one good set, meeting the right promoter, this one time being at the right after party, and it just takes off. So you just gotta keep going and not quit until you make it, because hard work never fails, and if you're persistent, you will find success in it.
Amazing. So I want to let the young people know that I will do a small video covering the apartment you live in. It's a good apartment, which means that you can only afford this if you're doing something right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because not everyone gets a chance to live here. We are in a very nice apartment with everything that it takes to live that amazing life. So the young people there, you really, all you need to do is reflect on what you really want to do and do it to your best. And the rest will be history.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time. And of course, let people know your handles so they can follow you. They can have, they can always follow what you are doing. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, my Instagram handle is at Cosmic Kitty Music on Instagram. And that's the only social media I currently have. But I am playing a gig, a little groovy house gig at Fly Bar, Training Street on the 13th. I'm going to be playing a gig in McAllen at the Fly Walrus Bar. It's going to be a nice long one on 1st of November. And I'm going to be playing another really cool music festival on the 2nd of November. It's the second of its kind. It's called Something Bust, Part 2, and it's going to be a banger. So you all should definitely pull up.
Okay, great. So everyone who is in Austin, please plan to be there. Plan to be there,
You don't want to miss it. Don't be
please,
sleeping on it.
all the young people, may you go to her handle and make it viral.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah, press follow, and yeah, let's support.
make it
Let's support.
happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and next can be your story, and of course, we are all humans and we share the same stories. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. This was great.
You're welcome.